Hello, friends. Hello, anime academic. How are you? Thanks for popping in. Hope the stream goes well as well. Have a little snack here with me. Oh, it's not as good as I'd hoped it would be. I'm not gonna lie. It looks really delicious, but I'm not gonna lie, the flavor's a little bit subpar. I'm a little sad. At first, I was upset because RJ ate a ton of it, and I haven't gotten the chance to eat any of it. And now I'm like, you know what? He can have the rest. He clearly likes it. I'm not vibing with it as much. But how is everyone tonight? How's everyone doing? It is Monday, and I'll be honest, I've also had a hell of a day. I'm not gonna lie. Every week is just something. I work a lot. I have two jobs, and then I also try to keep up with my Twitch and YouTube full time. So I'll do a little bit of a vent right now as we're kind of waiting for people to come in. But my vent is that I've been fucking busy. And it has felt slightly unfair recently that I've had some people that seem to be upset that I've been busy or not respectful of the fact that I've been busy. Um, or people that I've always been there for them, but now that I'm having my own issues and struggling with a bunch of stuff, they're just like, "Oh, that sucks," and it's like, "Thanks. I've been through you with for you. I've been there for you for a bunch of shit, but now that I'm having a bad time, you're not gonna be there for me. Whatever. I still have friends that are there for me. I'm not saying that none of my friends are helping me out. I do have friends that have been supportive and helpful and all that kind of stuff, but it's just annoying when you've been there for other people, but now when you need them, they're just kind of like, you know. So, but if you don't know, as many of you do, but if you don't, I work two jobs while also still doing YouTube and Twitch full time. Sort of. I haven't been streaming as much as I usually do. I usually stream every night, except on weekends. Every now and then I'll do a weekend stream. Kind of depends. But I've been streaming much less because I've just been exhausted. I exactly. That's how you know who's your real friends, right? Most days I work from about 8:30 to noon at my first job, and then I get home and eat, and then from about 1 to 3 I work on editing. Um and then 4 to 7 I work my other job, and then I get home from that, I eat, and then I stream from 8 to 10 p.m. So literally from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. I'm working and doing something. And if I'm not, I'm usually just eating or driving. So they're long days, and sometimes they're longer. Sometimes I have to work earlier and work later. So I'm working 10 to 12-hour days pretty much every single weekday. So yeah, and I'm still trying to get caught up on money and stuff. It's been getting better since I am working so much, but I'm still not I'm not working a super high paying job, and I still have other clients that are contracted with me and stuff like that. So I'm busy. So if I don't message or respond to your messages or things like that, if I'm hard to get a hold of, just know that I'm dead on the inside. And I will get back to you when I have the energy to. Because I don't have the energy to be available to everyone 24/7 right now. That's not to mean you can't message me, but you might be either left on red or just not opened for 48 hours. Because I'm tired. But anyway, we do have some submissions tonight, and some I feel that I can answer pretty well, which is nice. Hello, Spencer. Finally got my shiny Charmander. I'm proud of you, Block Rock. We do have some submissions tonight. If you want to submit, you can do the command advice. It should be the correct Google form. Um, but I feel like some of these I can actually answer pretty well. So I feel like some of these are pretty good. Other ones are pretty serious discussions, but they seem to be mostly just needing to vent. So not much advice is needed on them, which I'm okay with that too. But for the ones that do have a little bit more in-depth advice, I feel like I might actually be able to answer them pretty well. So We'll start with number one that was submitted earlier today. And this is what it says. I've been a fledgling Twitch streamer for several months now. No matter what I do, I can't seem to build up any sort of audience. I stream easily 20 to 30 hours a week and try to stay consistent with the kind of games I play, but I just don't feel like I'm making progress, and then I see other groups putting in a fraction of the work and getting way more views. I just wish I knew what I was doing wrong. So, for starters, good for you for streaming 20 to 30 hours a week. That's a lot. um, so that's a lot to commit to doing streaming. I don't know if you're an affiliate or if you're a partner or if you're working towards affiliate. I don't know what your average did you actually change the title with that? No. I could change it quick. Anyway, I don't know where you're at with streaming, and um I think you're doing the right things on Twitch. However, I was actually just talking to someone about this earlier today. Growth on Twitch usually doesn't happen on Twitch alone. You have to use other forms of social media to grow your Twitch, whether it be TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube, Twitter, even Facebook. Um, you have to use other avenues to help grow your Twitch. That is probably the one thing that I see a lot of people do. You can be consistent, stream every night, stream a lot of hours, but if you're not doing things outside of just that, it's not gonna, give it a big push. The discoverability on Twitch is subpar at best. Figure's good to have an advertiser. You have to say it. Yeah, that's fair. Um, but yeah, discoverability on Twitch isn't that great. There's not a lot of SEO that goes into it. That's why you see a lot of people use YouTube to promote their Twitch, because if you don't know what it is, SEO is search engine optimization that is powered pretty much primarily by Google, because Google is like the big search engine. And guess who owns YouTube? Google. So any SEO that goes into YouTube also goes on, or goes onto Google, goes onto YouTube. So if you want to grow your Twitch, you want to get good SEO, and that's going to happen most from doing other social media platforms. Yes. Um, Other things that might be contributing to that is making sure you're talking to chat. So read your chat messages often, try to respond to your chat often. I know some games that's hard to do, but like if you're about to go into a part of the game where you're like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to read chat, say that. Be like, I'm sorry, I can't respond right now, but I will read your messages once I'm done with whatever it is I'm doing. Because I know sometimes in Dead by Daylight I can't read. Sometimes even in Stardew I can't read if I'm doing like a Skull Cavern run or something. I'm trying not to die. But talk to your chat. Another thing is if you're like, well, no one's chatting, so I don't have any active chatters. Set up some timers, because the more people that are in your chat actively chatting, this is why I never get mad at anyone if they continuously message me in chat. They're always like, oh, I'm so sorry that I chat so much. Like, no, please do. The more active chatters that you have in chat, the more it's going to get recommended to other people on Twitch. So if you've got a dead chat, Twitch isn't going to recommend your stream to other people. So set up timers. So you can see I have the Pretzel Rocks thing right here. That's my music. So every time a new song comes on, it does that. I have the stream elements stuff. I don't think it shows in this chat, but you can see it in the regular chat. Stream element stuff. I have stuff set on timers. I have stuff set with commands. Those still count as chatters. I know Ken Cocoon, if you guys don't follow him, he has timers set up like every like couple of minutes, so that there's like a new, even if it's just a bot, there's like a new chatter. um so that it will just help with active chatters. Even if they're a bot, it'll seem like someone's in chat. Also, rating other people increases the chances their viewers get you as just yes. Also, that rate other people. Rate other people as often as you can. I always try to rate someone after my stream. Sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's a random person, but rating people always helps. Which also I forgot to do this when I started. Thank you, Border Cycle, for the 5 gifted. I see you gifted that yesterday and I was not live. Thank you for that. And Vengeful Awoken, thank you for the follow. I should have shouted those out at the beginning of stream, but thank you guys for those. But yes, Spence made a good point. Sir Goku made a good point. Raid other channels. I've had people that I've raided multiple times. They'll come into my streams and just hang out, and vice versa. I've had people raid me before, and I'll go into their streams and just hang out with them every now and then too. You'll network that way and get to know more people that way. And yeah, especially raiding smaller channels, they'll remember your name, and you'll get their viewers will get recommended to you. So raid people, and then another thing with that is do games and things that you enjoy, and I'm trying to think of words right now. I'm very tired. Once again, um, play games that you enjoy. Don't just do things that you think will be good for views. I did that for a while, where I was like, I'm gonna play these games and make this kind of content because I think that's what's gonna do best. And it hurt my views. It hurt my average viewership, and I wasn't having fun. And I stopped looking forward to streaming. And that's when I kind of decided that I wanted to just do what I wanted to do. And that's when I started doing a lot of Stardew because I had the most fun when I played Stardew. Um, I thought that more people would want to watch if I did things like Dead by Daylight or if I did like other like actiony kind of games, and I just stopped having fun doing them, and I tried to make YouTube videos out of them and they didn't get as good of views because I wasn't having as much fun with it. And people can tell. And yeah, when you have fun, your viewers have fun. Absolutely. And so that's why I just started doing Stardew. Um and I thought, it's a pretty bland game, nothing much happens in it, but I enjoy the game, so I'm going to play it anyway, and my average viewership went up. They've been the best content that I've had on YouTube by far. I've had like it's always been like my top most viewed videos are my Stardew videos. So yes, there's another point I wanted to make. I don't remember the other point I wanted to make. I think I've made enough points with that though. So like you said at the end, I would just wish I knew what I was doing wrong. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think you're just only doing one thing really well, which is great. But now it's time to try adding in some of those other things I mentioned, like growing on other forms of social media and reaching out that way. Oh, co-op stuff. Planned games with friends. When you do more like multi-stream events, you'll get more people from your friends' streams. You'll get their viewers to come to them, and your viewers will go to theirs, and like it helps everyone if you do like um kind of like event things. Like me, Tystria, Lifferman, and Nate will sometimes do like multiplayer games together, that kind of stuff. Get yourself a Spence to support your early day streaming. Yes, also that it's okay to ask your friends to come into stream. So Sir Goku here, Spence is one of my very first followers and viewers I ever had when I first started streaming 2 years ago. Almost every stream I had, he would try to come in and make sure that he was in chat talking to me so that I would have someone to talk to, even though I only had like two viewers. He was one of them. The other one was RJ. He would always make sure I had someone to talk to, and that really helped a lot at first. So thank you, Spence. And that's also why he's one of my mods too. And now he can just come in when he wants. He doesn't have to be here for every single stream unless he wants to. Because now it's grown to a point where I can have people in any night. So thank you, Spence. Thank you for being there in the early days. And eventually got to the point where I didn't feel, yep, there you go. You didn't feel like you had to show up every time. I very much appreciated that you were there in the early days when I was working on getting more viewers, because it's hard to talk by yourself sometimes. So, okay, that was the first submission that we had for the night. I'll do the second one. This one I think is going to be kind of short because I think this one is mostly event. I don't think there's really any advice to give. It's also pretty vague, but I will read it anyway. I don't really know where to start or what to say, so I'll just say I'm hurting. Anyone reading this is more care than I've gotten in years, so thanks. So, again, I don't think this person is asking for advice, mostly just venting. I'm sorry that you've been hurting for a long time, and I hope that you find an online group of friends or even a real group of friends or just a support system somewhere of people to help you not feel so hurt anymore or people to talk to. But I'm sorry that you're feeling that way. All right, third submission. I recently found out that my mom hid her new relationship from me because she knew I'd be upset about it. She recently got back with an ex who previously had called her more than a few colorful names, burnt a hole in the backyard of her house with a bonfire large enough that the flames tickled the power lines, and threatened to beat me up several times. She talked to him a few months back, and while drunk, he didn't realize he hadn't hung up on the phone and told someone he didn't love her, he just loved that she had a house. I told my mom she was better than being with him and deserved to be with someone that respected her. She then went behind my back and got back with him and tried to hide it. Am I the asshole for being upset that she's back with a man that abused her? Of course, I want my mom to be happy, but she's had a history of horrific relationships that have left a lot of scars on both of us, and she's the only parent I have left. I don't want to lose my relationship with her, but I definitely can't trust her either. I just don't know what to do. So, for starters, you are not the asshole. Um, You haven't done, from what I can read from this, you haven't done anything to make you the asshole. All you've done is show concern for a bad relationship for someone that you care about. And now, abusive relationships can be difficult for people that are stuck in them because they feel like it there's manipulation in it. It can be hard to get out of one. It can be hard to leave because there's some form of safety or some form of manipulation that's made them feel like they need to stay or that they can't leave or that it's hard to leave. Um so I don't know what like financial situations are like or like what it is that brought them together, but for whatever reason she feels like she can't leave despite the fact that there's been abuse to both you and her. So one, I'm sorry that that happened. Two, I would say it is worth it to try and sit down and talk to her. And you have to be very gentle with this kind of conversation. This is not an easy conversation to have, but if you care and you want her to be safe, it's probably worth having to just sit down and be like, I want to express to you how this makes me feel. And that's very important to use those exact words. Don't be like, I can't believe you're doing this. This is your fault for going back with someone who's awful. Like, do not use blaming statements. Do not say you. Do not say this is your fault. Center it more on yourself. Take the don't put blame on someone else in this kind of conversation. Say it makes me feel upset and worried that this is what is happening and I want to express my concern for you for how this is going. Um, that is the right way to do it. You don't want to come off attacking. You don't want to come off in. Thank you for the follow, Lambo Tweaks. Welcome in. Um, Random little interrupt in the middle of that, but same thing. You don't want to come after them in a way that is attacking. You don't want to come after them in a way that is blaming. You want to make sure that you sit down and you don't have to physically do this, but like metaphorically speaking, gently hold their hand and be like, I am concerned and this makes me worried. Um, so yeah, I just know what to do. It might also be worth it to see if you can reach out to someone else. I would not reach out to law enforcement right now. Law enforcement, she might not respond well to that. You want her to make that decision if it's a decision that needs to be made. Do not make a victim come forward if they're not comfortable coming forward. Because a lot of times that can also lead to whoever the abuser is making the situation worse or being even more angry and possibly even more abusive. It's a fine line. Uh, so if that's a path that you guys decide to take, make sure you're safe. Um, and again, I am not a professional. I should have said that disclaimer at the beginning of the stream like I usually do. I'm not a professional. I have no degree in psychology or therapy or anything like that. This is my own personal experience, my own thoughts. For all of this, I have a degree in theater. I have no qualifications. This is just my thoughts and any of chat's thoughts as well. But that would be my advice for that is to maybe, you're not the asshole, but try and sit down and have a really gentle conversation and explain why you're worried. And don't get mad. She might get mad. You can't get mad because it's going to make it worse. And I know that's easier said than done when something this emotional is happening, but be gentle. That's what they need. Okay, next one, forced submission. If you want to submit anything, you can do the command advice. This submission I thought was kind of funny, not in that like it's a funny story or anything, but it's something that I've kind of been dealing with. That is a less serious note, but it says recently I had to change my diet due to a medical emergency and can no longer eat red meat, which I've done for the better part of my life. Do you have any recommendations for foods to try and have a healthier diet? Now, I say that's funny because I've been struggling eating red meat for a while now. If anyone was with me at Genesis after we went and got burgers, you'll know that I had to go back to the room and lay down for a while because I was not feeling great after having red meat. And literally on Sunday, that was yesterday, we had tacos that I made. And like 2 hours later, I was like, this was a bad choice. And I'd also just had tacos tonight, fully knowing that I'm probably going to shit my brains out later tonight. But you know, I stopped eating red meat for a while for no particular reason. I just like I don't prefer it most of the time. And now since I never eat it, it makes my stomach upset. It's kind of like when a vegetarian tries to start eating meat again. It makes them sick because their body's not used to it anymore. And so I stopped eating a lot of red meat just kind of on accident. And now when I eat red meat, sometimes I get sick. So there's a lot of foods that you can eat besides red meat. Um, if you're someone that likes tacos, likes ground beef, likes burgers, stuff like that, an easy replacement for that is ground turkey. The only difference between ground turkey and ground beef is one, it's turkey. Two, it's a lot leaner, so there's a lot less fat in it, so it cooks a little bit different. But if you just use some extra oils and fats in it, you'll get that same kind of consistency. Otherwise, the consistency is a little bit different. But if you use a little extra oil to give it that extra fat that turkey doesn't have versus beef having, it helps a lot. And if you season it right, it really doesn't taste that different. I'll never forgive Taco Bell for removing the shredded chicken burrito. Cries. And that's another thing you can have is chicken. I don't know if pork bothers you or if pork even counts as red meat. Pork doesn't bother me. I like pulled pork. So that's always an option if you're looking for pulled pork sandwiches or shredded chicken sandwiches. Chicken is a good replacement. And if you want good recipes, I know a lot of I don't know what your gender is or what your pronouns are. I know a lot of people find Pinterest to be a very feminine place, but seriously download it because you will find the best food recipes that are very easy to follow and very easy to just save and cheap and really good recipes too. My dad downloaded Pinterest when I was in high school so he could find more recipes for stuff for both baking and making dinner. So like if you're someone that is more on the masculine side and you're like, I can't download Pinterest, you can download Pinterest. It's fine. And Pinterest is a fantastic resource for food. Um, there's a lot of Eastern foods that are vegan or vegetarian. You do not have to be vegan or vegetarian, but they're going to give you a lot of really good options that avoid either meat or red meat. I find that I prefer um, vegan pho, not vegan, vegetarian pho and vegetarian curry. Sometimes I like chicken curry, but I really like tofu pho or even just vegetable curry. So kind of explore your palate a little bit, open it up to some different things. I know red meat. If you think to yourself, I can't have red meat. I'm sad that I can't have red meat. All I want is a burger. All I want is a steak. If you keep thinking that, you're gonna keep wanting it more. Instead, try to think, what are some new foods I can try that I haven't tried before? I used to not like in the past because I used to hate seafood. Now seafood is my favorite. I realized that living in the middle of central Wisconsin just kind of made it so that not a lot of seafood was great because there's no sea or ocean in central Wisconsin. A lot of seafood was pretty gross. But as I grew up and I had places that had good seafood, I really started to enjoy it more. And I know seafood is kind of 50-50 for some people, and I know that shellfish is something that some people are allergic to as well. But Taco Bell, a very good stomach cleanser. Honestly, it doesn't do that to me. And I eat beans at Taco Bell. All I eat is refried beans. That's another good substitute is beans. Beans are a very good substitute. I love beans though. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you can look up on Pinterest that are not red meat. But I would say a really good substitute as you're trying to get used to it is turkey, ground turkey. Hello AJ, how are you? How are you this fine Monday night? But I hope that helps. I don't have any specific recommendations for what you could eat because there's truly a lot of options and I don't know what your flavor palette is like, but seriously check out Pinterest and a lot of Eastern foods. I think if you start trying to look into some of those recipes, a lot of them don't use red meat. Sick? I'm sorry. I feel like anyone that's in school a lot gets sick like 4 times a year, which sucks. I hope you feel better. Okay, next submission, I'm going to do a formatting thing real quick. Okay. Where am I? And if you need me to go more in depth on something, feel free to either put it in chat or if you want to stay anonymous, you can resubmit and add more details and be like, hey, I was the person that asked about this, and then add more details. Um, so this next one. What keeps you motivated to keep making content? What is your mental process that allows you to keep pushing out videos week after week? Do you set a schedule? Do it whenever you have time and energy, etc.? So there's a couple things. I would say the biggest one right now that keeps me motivated is I work a job that I do not like. Um, I want to quit it very badly. And whenever I'm sitting at that job, all I can think about is how I would have so much more time to like do video editing and that kind of stuff if I just wasn't there. So for me, a big motivator right now is the fact that I have a job that I don't want to work. And I guess that kind of falls back into an even bigger motivator that I've had. And that is, I do not want to go back into the corporate world. I had a corporate job that I worked at a few years ago that I quit because it made me so fucking depressed. I hated it there. I got a different job after that was a little bit better, but the owner sucked. Got fired from that. Um, and then I almost went back into the corporate world, and the thought of going back to doing like a regular ass office job made me want to just cry. And I was like, I don't want this. I don't want a job that I sit in, even though I sit in my own office, whatever, it's different. That I have to go somewhere and sit in an office or a cubicle and just have no freedom for 8 to 10 hours a day. I can't do that. Um, so that is something that really keeps me motivated, is because I've had to live a corporate life, and it made me so depressed that I couldn't eat and I couldn't sleep and I couldn't function. It sucked. So that's a big motivator for me, is I'll think back to, okay, if my YouTube fails, I will have to go back to doing a normal fucking job, and I don't want that. Um if you've never heard of the concept of burn your boat, it's essentially, I never remember the exact like people that is involved with, but essentially these people came up, I'm pretty sure it was Spaniards, came to what we now know as America, and they were being attacked, and they said, Captain, what do we do? Like, what is our protocol? Because they were outnumbered, and he said burn the boats, and they're like, what? And he said burn the fucking boats, because it's either, for them it was either live or die. There is no option of turning back. There is no option of retreating. Burn the boats, because we will not retreat. We will either win or we will die trying. They all died. But that's the concept, is just, at least I'm pretty sure they all died. I don't think they won. That's the concept, is just burn your boat. Either be successful or it's done. And that's kind of how I felt about both my Iron Man and also about YouTube. It's like, either this will be successful or I have to go back to doing jobs that I don't like and living a lifestyle that I don't like. Um, it's been very hard. If I was like, oh, the whole process has been beautiful, wonderful, blah, 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 that'd be so fucking not true. At least once a week, I cry about it. It is not easy. It is very stressful. It's something that means a lot to me, but I have cried, and I don't even just mean like a few stressed tears. I have sat up till 3 a.m. crying because I'm upset that my videos aren't doing well enough, or I'm upset that I haven't been getting enough watch hours, or I'm upset at the mere thought of having to like give up on this dream. It'll upset me so much that I can't sleep at night. Like, that is how much my YouTube means to me, and I will make sure that like nothing gets in the way of my YouTube. Even in one of my jobs that I have right now, I told him, I was like, if I start to work so many hours that it affects my ability to like do what I really want to do, I'm going to have to lessen my hours. And he said, okay, I want you to keep like doing what you want to do while still working here. I want to make sure that there's a balance, because I want you to be here and I want you to be happy. Which I really appreciate a ton. That's a sign of a good employer. But that is, I would say, one of the things that keeps me motivated, is being able to live my dream. Is something that's very important to me. But what is my mental process that allows you to keep pushing out videos week after week? I do have a schedule. So I try to upload every Tuesday, Friday. With how busy I've been, it hasn't been every Tuesday and Friday, but I at least try to get Fridays, because Fridays are the days that are usually the best days to upload for me. For everyone, it's different, but Fridays in general makes the most sense, because that's when people are done with work. That's when the weekend starts. That's when people have free time. Fridays is just a really good day to upload. I find a lot of people also say Wednesdays are a good day to upload, because it's the middle of the week and no one's doing anything, kind of thing. They're looking forward to the weekend. But I do have a set schedule, and it's not random. I think the Tuesdays aren't as big for me anymore, but I remember that my Tuesday uploads, when I looked at my analytics, my Tuesdays were oddly really good. I don't think they are anymore though, because now my Tuesday videos haven't been doing so well, but it's also just like an easy day, because I don't want to do Thursdays and Fridays. It's just easy to do one at the beginning of the week and one on Friday. It's pretty much split pretty in half. So I'm going to keep doing Tuesdays and Fridays. Um the process of my videos. So, because I work a job I don't like, when I get really bored at the job, sometimes I'll just like, without even trying, I'll start brainstorming different things, and I have a list on my phone of different videos I want to make. Of it's mostly Stardew videos, um, of different content ideas and things that I want to do, videos I want to make. It usually has to do. The inspiration can come from a couple things. Sometimes it's a new player asking me a question about how to do something, and I kind of think or say to myself, hey, if this is a question that one person has, it's probably a question someone else has had, so I'm going to make a video about it. So if other people have a question and they don't know how to do this, I'll show them how. So that's where one thing comes from. The second one is usually if I'm doing something that I know is kind of difficult in the game, like right now I'm trying to get to level 100 of the Skull Caverns in Stardew. I know that's not something that's easy to do, so I'm going to try and record the process and then make that into a video because that can be entertaining, and it's almost like Jump King. Like for people that have done it, it's a journey. Um, the other thing is I'm doing like a little mini series of like the history of different characters, and that's something that's easy for me to do that doesn't require me to have specific footage. Wow, I can't talk. It does not require me to have specific footage within the game to make content or a video out of it. I can just like research the history of someone, and find random video clips of me talking to that character in the game because it's just an NPC. I don't have to like hit certain checkpoints in the game to be able to talk to them, kind of thing. Um, I do have a schedule for editing as well. If I can't get a video done, I will stay up late until it's done. I used to not have to do that, but now that I work a lot, I do have to do that every now and then. And that's again, that's a choice by me. I have had weeks where I didn't upload at all. I have had weeks where I had 0 new videos, and it always makes me sad when I do that, but it's usually when I'm too exhausted. It's not worth me to like not sleep to stay up late and make it because I have too much else ongoing in the week. I'll only stay up late to finish a video if I know the next day I don't really have to like be a human. um or I have a video editor, Fancy Plants, or Fancy Planties. I think I always say it wrong. She does one video like every 2 weeks for me. Um, so another thing is it's okay to ask for help. Just make sure you have the money to do it because I do pay her. But if you have more specific questions on what I do for my YouTube stuff, I can talk your ear about it forever. Feel free to send me a DM, or even post again in here if you have more specific questions. If you want to do a follow up for the advice time in there, feel free. But even just from listening to that, you could tell I'm very passionate about my YouTube. I want to keep doing well. When one of my videos does well, it makes me very happy. So, yeah. Note to self, video idea, top 10 reason Elliot fans aren't real. Dude, do it! It'd be funny. I don't want to make that video because I don't know what I would do. I mean, like, one of the videos I made was top 5 reasons that you should try Stardew Valley Mobile because I had just started playing it and I was having a lot of fun playing it. And I had a lot of people asking me, like, what is it that you like about mobile that's different than PC? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a video about that. And I made 2. But yeah, even just like random things like that. I could tell you guys my other video ideas I have. Um, like I said, I keep a list because that's another thing is every now and then you'll randomly be like, oh my god, that's a good idea for a video. You will not remember it. Fucking write it down. I have a notes app in my phone of different videos. Um, one is a really simple one. It's how to get married in Stardew Valley because some people don't know how to get the things you need to do to get married. How I decorated my basement for Shane. I just recorded that today and it'll come out tomorrow. How to get giant crops. So that is. I also write my own scripts. The script is written for that, but I haven't gotten the footage yet for it. So I'm waiting till I can get to the point in game where I can get the footage of me having giant crops. That one's in progress. How to get solar panels. I don't even know how to do that, but I saw someone had solar panels. So once that journey starts, we'll write my scripts for it, and then we will record how that journey goes. And then I have the history of characters. The next one that I'm going to do that I'll probably record sometime this week and hopefully will come out Friday is Alex. So it'll be a history of Alex. How to keep your crops watered forever. That video is out. How to build a resort in Stardew Valley is partially written. Because I haven't gotten that far in the game yet either. Location of all the golden walnuts on Ginger Island. I will have to do that on a second save file and just like look at a map and find them all. And then I'm gonna do up-to-date news on Haunted Chocolatier. If you don't know what Haunted Chocolatier is, it's another game that Concerned Ape is making. So some of it is just like me being excited about the game as I just come up with things that I'm like, this would be cool as a video. Or it's like seeing someone else do something in the game and I'm like, I don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna figure it out and then I'm gonna make a YouTube video on how to do that because if I don't know how to do that, then someone else also doesn't know how to do it. And then Hunt Chocolatiers, a new game coming out. So I'm going to try and stay up to date on news on that because that'll be hype and that'll be popular as that news comes out. And then it will probably die down a little bit. But anyway, as you can see, I could talk about that forever. Feel free to message me about it or add another question if you want more details. Um, this one, also kind of funny because I deal with this myself as well. What are your recommendations for stress and tension headaches? For those of you that don't know, I have a fucked up neck from doing my Ironman. It's a long story, but I get really bad stress and tension headaches, and most of it originates actually from my shoulders. So my traps will get really tight right here because my neck doesn't hold itself upright because everything's fucked up. So then this will all get really tight because this is all tight trying to keep things stable, which is why you'll see me like turn my whole body to turn. Instead, like I could turn my head, but not that far. But oftentimes when I have to turn around, I will turn my whole body because all of this is stiff. Um, so, one, find out what muscle it is that actually really hurts when you get these tension headaches. Like I said, for me, it's actually my traps. And it's usually like right where, let me do the shoulder. It's like right where it connects, right here for my shoulder. It's not up here farther where you think it would be because where my neck hurts. It's like right here. It's the very front of it. And one thing I usually do is, one, I'll see if RJ can dig it out because that always makes it feel better. The other thing you can do is if you can't have someone massage it out, you can take a tennis ball, and I might have to physically show you guys how to do this because it's kind of hard to explain. But you could take a tennis ball and you go up to a wall and you basically put your body at a 90-degree angle and then like shove your shoulder into the wall and then roll the tennis ball around with your shoulder, and that'll massage your traps right here and help loosen that up. And once that loosens, my whole headache doesn't go away, but a lot of it goes away and it starts to feel a lot better. And then I'll start to find different areas. Like this area right here for me on the right side of my neck, there's this very specific spot that always gets a knot. So I'll push down really hard on it and I'll really dig it out, like to the point I'm in tears. And I'll use my knuckle and I'll get in there and I'll dig in as hard as I can, again, to try and get this muscle to relax. Um, if they don't relax, I'll usually go for like a CBD oil. CBD is basically diet weed, as my friends call it. It is the part of a marijuana plant that's non hallucinogenic. It just has like the relaxing chemicals and factor of it. So you can get, yeah, diet weed. You can get CBD like gels, oils. You can get gummies. I've done all of them. I've used CBD gummies. They help a little bit for headaches. I've used CBD oil and like massage oils and lotions and like all these other things. They do help on days that it's really bad. And I'm talking like I'm throwing up because I'm in so much pain. I can't open my eyes because I have a splitting migraine. My ears are ringing. The only thing that helps is if I lay down. So I hope yours don't get that bad. But mine do get that bad sometimes. And if they get to that point that I can't do anything else and I literally feel sick, I have to lay down. Um, or the thing that I do, which ended up making me really loopy for stream once, is I do actually take actual weed gummies. It is legal in my state um, to have edibles, and that is something that helps my headaches a lot as well. Um, and if that is still too much, I have to sleep because that's the only thing that will take the pressure off my neck. Because the reason all of my tension and all of my stress builds up is because something is hurting, and so what happens is your muscles just hold themselves so that you can't hurt your neck anymore. So mine comes from an injury. I would say though, kind of try and determine what causes it, catch it early, and then find a thing that helps. Those are things that I do that help. I hope some of that helped you. um, if not, I'm sorry. Talk to your doctor. I have a chiropractor I see regularly too. That also helps a lot. People have different opinions on chiropractors. I love mine. He helps me a lot. I had, your neck is supposed to have a 45-degree curve this way. So like your neck is supposed to curve up. I had a negative 23-degree curve. So my neck was curved forward. It's not supposed to be. All of my discs were pinched. I had vertebrae that were stacked on each other improperly, and he has helped me. I haven't gotten a full like curvature back this way, but he has helped me get a lot of the curvature back. So say what you want about chiropractors, my neck has gotten a lot better. All right. Next submission. Again, if you would like to submit something, you can do the command advice. All right. My roommate is disgusting. I have three roommates currently and unfortunately share a room with one of them. He smells horrible, never does his dishes, never takes trash out, doesn't ever have his side of the room clean, and sometimes literally just doesn't flush the toilet. This morning I decided to time how long he spent in the bathroom with the shower on. We are in California, so water use matters, and it was actually one of his shorter showers at only 55 minutes. That's insane. What's insane is that even after showering that long, he smells awful. I don't want to think about what he's spending his time doing in the bathroom. Okay, so I would, if you haven't already, talk to your other roommate and be like, have you noticed this? Is this a problem? Or is it just me? Your other roommate's probably noticed. Um, but if you haven't talked to your other roommate, be like, does this bother you? They will probably say yes. Because if he's not flushing the toilet and leaving dishes out, that's always a big thing for roommates is just stay clean. Um, and then have a talk with him. We had a rule in my house that dishes could be in the sink no longer than 24 hours. So, like, if you're on your way to class or something, you have to throw your plate in the sink, it's fine, but just make sure by tomorrow morning it's clean and out. So, we had to set some rules and boundaries for that so that we could prevent fights and having issues with dishes in the way. That might be something you can implement. Because we didn't have a dishwasher. Everything had to be hand washed, of course. And I'm assuming if water use matters because you're in California, you probably also can't use dishwashers that often. Or if you're a student or, living with roommates, chances are you're doing it to save money and you probably don't have a dishwasher where you live. We don't have a dishwasher here currently and we own our own house. I miss having a dishwasher. Anyway, but yeah, kind of set that boundary. That's a rule that we had. You have 24 hours to clean up your plates. If you don't, it's going to be a problem and we're going to have to talk about it. Like it's disrespectful. It's a boundary. Um, we also had a rule that the general living area had to stay clean, and every week we had a chore sheet of like different chores that we all had to get done. Your room itself could be a mess, but the general area had to be clean as long as we could shut your door and hide it. Now, this is different because you share a room with this person. You say their side of the room is always disgusting. Um, that might be hard to ask of them. I don't know. As long as it stays on their side of the room, sucks. But that might be a hard thing to be like, hey, I need you to clean your shit up. Otherwise, you could try and see if you can have a room to yourself. That might be hard to figure out though. Um, but that's a long ass shower, and for them to still stink afterwards, I feel like they're just sitting on the floor and not actually bathing themselves. There's a thing that so if you don't know who Fuslie is, there's this ongoing joke because on Mogul Money she said she only showered once a week, but when she said that she meant that she only like did a full shower once a week of washing her whole hair and her whole body. Um yeah, people's personal space you can't really infringe on it. Yeah, if it's his side of the bedroom and it stays over there, you might just have to like compromise and just like let that stay that way because that's his personal space. But there was a joke about how she only showers once a week. When she does bathe regularly, she just doesn't full wash her hair every single day. She only washes her hair once a week, and she counts that as a full shower. Um, and so they're like, "Oh my God, Leslie only showers once a week," and she just recently posted a TikTok of her roommates like casually leaving around like deodorant and body soap. Like she would open the fridge and it would be there, and she was like, "Well," she would sit down to stream and there'd be like body soap and deodorant, and she'd be like, "I don't stink." And so like they just like casually they did it as a meme. Like it was a meme thing. It was very set up and scripted. But I mean, not saying you should do that, but maybe you can be like, "Hey dude, here's some deodorant. Have you thought about using it on a daily basis?" Like cuz there gets to a point where like you live with them and people don't want to smell bad. And while it might be awkward to bring it up, you might also want to be like, dude, I'm saying this as nicely as I can. Please use deodorant. If you live with them and it's this big of a problem, I think it's acceptable to be like, please use this. Um, but also from reading some of this, it almost either there's two scenarios. One, they're really lazy. Two, they are struggling with like a mental health issue because I know I get really bad when my depression gets really bad. I don't do my laundry. I don't do dishes. Like, I can't fucking do anything. And I will just sit in the shower for like an hour and just like sit on the floor of the shower and be sad. Um, so there's two possibilities with that. They might also just be in a really bad situation. And if they are, again, a lot of this is going to come if you just try talking to them. And if they admit, like, I'm sorry, I've just, like, I really can't, like, I haven't been able to do this stuff, try and offer some support. And be like, hey, I'm sorry this is rough. Do you want me to help you with just washing your laundry? Like, you don't have to fold it and put it away for them, but be like, do you want me to run some of your laundry with mine when I go do mine? That's what RJ does for me when I get really bad. Um, Also, nosy here, I have not gotten to that one yet. Um, but when I get really bad and I can't do my laundry, RJ will wash my laundry for me. He doesn't fold it and put it away, but then I have clean laundry, and I'll just have a basket of clean laundry ready and there for me. Um, they also might have like some weird hormone disorder that makes it so that they're always stinky. A lot of body odor comes from, you know, your hormones doing something wrong with your body. So, this is pretty good advice. Thank you. I'm glad. um, I don't know if all that is helpful. And as far as the 55-minute shower thing goes, it would be worth it solely because you live in California to be like, yo, you need to take shorter showers. Rare Carly W, fuck you, here. But since you live in California and like water conservation is like a pretty big deal, I think it's also fair to be like, you know, you need to take shorter showers because we live in California, we can't use that much water. That's fair to just be like, this is the law. Like, you can do that. The law states we can't do this. So please don't. Beyond that, I hope that's helpful. Or as far as the toilet thing goes, because they don't flush, you can get a little. We had one in our old apartment. You can. It might not help, but it might help a little. Um, you could get a little thing that hooks on the inside, and every time you flush it, it cleans it, kind of thing. There's a thing in America. The little toilet clip, yeah, it's not a bidet, but you can get a thing that clips underneath like the toilet bowl rim, and so then every time you flush it, it'll like do a little cleaning thingy. We had one at our old apartment, and again, if they're not flushing, obviously that doesn't help. But then if something has been sitting for a while and you do flush it, I mean you have to save water. Certain states, certain states have that. I've never had to deal with that, but yeah, it depends. Or if it happens a lot on the West Coast when they have a lot of wildfires. They'll have to do water conservation. They can only, yeah, not the Midwest. They can only run water certain times of the day, or they can't water their grass, things like that. It kind of depends on the time of year, what's going on, and what state you live in. But yeah, you could get one of those little toilet clips. Again, like I said, that's not gonna help if they don't flush, but at least when you do flush, then it'll clean it and hopefully make the smell go away. You can also get little scent things out too. We have little plug-in wall scents. They help a lot. They're very strong at first, and then after a month they kind of go away. But the little oil wall plug-ins, we have one behind our couch. We have one in our living room. We have one in our bedroom, and I change them out on occasion. I definitely don't change them often enough, and they're mostly just there because I like the smell of them. It's not like we're covering anything up, and then I just kind of forget to replace them. But that could be a thing that you can do too, just to help with the smell in general. You could put one in your bathroom and in your bedroom. So, I mean, why not just show the water bill, assuming you don't play a fat rate? True. True. You can just be like, yo, this is our water bill. I know some places also include water, but I feel like in California they definitely would not. But I hope some of that was helpful. Um, if not, again, feel free to resubmit with more details or DM me individually. I'm not gonna just be like, yo, Zahir said this. I'm going to sometimes with Zahir because he'll post it dead ass right in general chat for the whole world to see. But if you message me and say, hey, like, you know, don't tell anyone this, I'm not going to. How much is the standard water bill per month in the US? We pay ours quarterly. If you pay a flat rate, then meh, kind of weird to try and control what someone, yeah. And weird it's not directly impacting you. Other than that, maybe saying that you weren't able to use the bathroom because it was occupied for so long. Yeah, that's also a fair statement. Be like, hey, you were in there for an hour. Can you not do that? The otaku nerd. Here's some good advice I've learned. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. I've heard this quote before. Today's a gift, that's why it's called a present. Every day is a different day. Each day you're reborn. Thank you. Thank you for your words of wisdom. You stole that from a turtle. You mean when I don't care that much, people know about me. I figured. That's why I can bully you about it here. But I know some people want to keep it on the DL. So, yeah. But I think yours is next to here. Monday is everyone's favorite day of the week. That's a lie, Holden. Don't lie to me. If you would like to submit advice, you could do the command advice. Okay. Next one. Any advice on how to be more vulnerable and share your problems with your significant other rather than keeping it to yourself? This one might be a little bit of a difficult one, and I think I know who submitted it. The difficulty with this is it's going to come with stepping outside your comfort zone. So, oh, I missed one. We'll go back because I definitely accidentally skipped over one that I didn't mean to. I'm very sorry for whoever submitted it. I'll go back to that one. Anyway, a thing that helped me a lot when I was younger, because I used to be very, 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 very shy. I'm not going back to it right now, so here, I'll do it in a little bit. It was this diagram that I saw. There's two circles. It was a little circle and then a big circle, and they didn't touch. They were separate. And one said your comfort zone was the small circle, and the big circle was where the magic happens. And the meaning behind that is like the magic happens outside of your comfort zone. And so you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable to experience new and better things in life. And so it comes with practice. And that's why the very first time you do something, it's really, really hard. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. So if you want to be more vulnerable, you have to just practice it. And I know that like that doesn't help. There's no like here's a 10-step guide on how to be more vulnerable. Like it's not a simple step-by-step process. It's something that you have to do over time with practice. And it can be as simple as sharing something from your childhood and being vulnerable that way. It doesn't have to be like a bad thing, I guess. It can be something simple. Or you can share a hot take that a lot of people give you shit for. I like olives. That's being vulnerable. I love olives. And I was just getting in a fight with Vex the other day on Twitter because I love olives and he's giving me shit for it. It doesn't have to be, like, if you want to practice being vulnerable, it doesn't have to be a big thing right away. You could just practice sharing things and then having a conversation about the thing you shared. And it can be as random as I like olives, I like pickles. When I was a little kid, I don't know, I used to catch frogs in my backyard and keep them as pets. That's a real thing that I did. Like, a lot of people thought I was weird because I had pet frogs and toads in my room. Like, just share that. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Another thing that I've struggled with is confrontation and conflict and sharing when I'm upset about something. It's been very hard for me to, like, say it directly to someone's face that you are making me feel upset or, in a way, being vulnerable because I will cry. And that's because I've had really bad relationships where when I did do that, it went very wrong. Um, and they didn't take it well, and it was not a good time all around. So what I'll do instead is I'll write it down. And I've had to do this a couple times with RJ actually when there was things that made me upset and I was afraid to talk about it. I would write it down in a letter, a physical letter, not a text message. A text message is okay, but I find a physical letter is better because it's your handwriting and it's something that you wrote, and you handwrite it out and just say, "This is making me upset, and this is why." And usually after it, I'd follow up with, "I'm so sorry," blah, 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 even though I shouldn't have to apologize for how I feel. But I would write a note and I would hand it to RJ and I would let him read it. And then we would go from there. And most of the time, he would say, "I'm sorry, I didn't know you felt that way." And he would do something to, like, improve upon it. And I would sit there, like, crying, bawling my eyes out because I'd be so afraid that, he would retaliate, yell at me, be mad at me. He never was. But I would write it down instead because it's a lot easier to write it out and just hand it to someone and let them read it at their own leisure versus me trying to blubber it out in tears. So that is something that I have done many times. I actually had to do that when I quit my job too. I wrote a big long letter that listed out all of the reasons that I hated working there, which is like a really simple way to put it, but it's basically like all the reasons that made me upset that I found they were lacking in, and I don't know. I guess that's the best way to put it. Is like things that they did that made me upset that I had talked about before and no changes were made, and that I was disappointed in them for not being better leaders when they were supposed to be my managers and my superiors, and I didn't feel like they were being good leaders and that they were being lazy. Um, I wrote like literally like a 3 or 4 page letter explaining to them like I'm disappointed that you guys have dropped the ball here, here, and here, and then I quit, which is a huge power move. Because they said to me that it really opened their eyes after that, that hey, this is a culture change that we should make. And I actually work there again now as a contracted graphic designer, not as a full-time employee, which again is another big power move, is that they hired me back under my own terms, um, and my own hours, and a lot of stuff has changed. I've noticed a big difference in everything there. And again, that's a different kind of scenario. That's a workplace, but it was the same thing. Is it was hard for me to vocalize it, so I wrote it down and gave it to them, and it had a big impact. So write it down, write it out as a letter. And I know if you can't see them in person, maybe it's rough, and you can do a text if you need to then. Um, but I would say handing them a letter in person is still more powerful because you're still there in person. It's different than being behind a screen. And that's also a good way to just practice your own boundaries and setting your own boundaries and being vulnerable. Be in person, write it down, hand the letter to them written while you're there in person. That's why it's different than a text, because you're in person. I hope that helps to hear. Because yes, there's an aspect of just do it, but there's small things that you can do to build up to doing the bigger ones. Come on, Carly W. Thank you. Thank you, Zahir. Thank you, man. Also, feel free to submit anything. This is my last. Oh no, I have to go back. We have 2 submissions left right now. Okay, this one is mostly, again, another vent. There's not a lot of advice I can give, though I am going to kind of talk about grief that goes along with it because this is a very sad loss. So, 3 years ago, I lost my daughter due to SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome, for those of you that don't know. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is when an infant suddenly dies for seemingly no reason. I've been struggling with I've been struggling with it, and no one can help me. I haven't been able to talk to many people about it, and it's nice to find somewhere I can let it out. Thank you for this. It means a lot to me. So that's the whole submission. Again, doesn't seem like they're asking for advice. Just wanted to kind of like talk about it. And so I do want to say that that is something that I hope I never have to deal with. I've heard from many people that for a parent to lose a child is probably like the hardest thing anyone has ever had to deal with. And you say it was 3 years ago, and if you still feel like it was yesterday, I would not feel bad. I would not beat yourself up for that. Because losing a child is something that's very hard. It's, yeah, I don't have words, and I hope I never have to. I hope I don't ever have to deal with losing a child of my own. I've lost people, I've lost friends, and I've lost family, and that's always been really hard. And so the only, again, it's not a piece of advice, but just something that was explained to me on how to deal with grief. And it is that grief is not something that goes away over time, but it's something that you grow around. And maybe you've heard this. And that grief is like a ball inside a box. And when the thing first happens, when you first lose someone, when that first traumatic thing happens, the ball and the box are basically the same size. And that if you move the box a little bit, the ball will hit the edges and um the ball will hit the edges of the walls in the box, and that's when you break down. And it's like no matter what happens, you're sad, you cry a lot, you can't do anything. Um, all of the grief and sadness and emotion just comes rushing in at the very smallest little touch of the box because the ball and the box are basically the same size. And over time, the ball doesn't get smaller, but the box gets bigger. And so as the box gets bigger, the ball has more room to like kind of float around and move. So sometimes it'll still hit the wall, sometimes it won't. Some days are okay, the ball doesn't hit the wall. Some days the ball just keeps hitting the wall a lot because the ball is still pretty big inside this box. But as time goes on, again, that box keeps getting bigger. The ball doesn't get smaller, but the box gets bigger. And the box represents your ability to deal with this grief, and the grief is the ball. And so some days the ball stays still. and the box stays still. The ball doesn't touch the walls. You can get through the day just fine. And again, that box keeps growing. But every now and then, it could be random. It could be a year. It could be 5 years from now. That ball hits the wall, and the grief comes back, and it hurts just as much every time it hits the wall. And that's just grief. It never goes away. You just grow more space around it. And sometimes that ball hits the edge of the wall, and sometimes it really hurts, and you don't know why. You don't know what triggered it. The grief just all comes back at once, and it hurts just as much the first time as it does the 700th time. But each time it gets easier because the box gets a little bit bigger. So that is something that I learned about grief, a metaphor that someone taught me about grief. I don't know if it's helpful to you or anyone that's listening, but I hope it is. Okay. So, next one. This is the last submission, so if you guys would like to submit anything, feel free. I'll wait a few minutes when this one is done to see if we get any other ones in. Otherwise, we will probably end the stream there. I have a friend who does YouTube and streaming and wants to make it their full-time job. I respect the grind and support them, of course, but they have been gaining a very huge ego from it. They have almost 2K subs, and because of that, they think they're above others. It sort of feels like the numbers are controlling them away, saying how great their views are in shorts, etc. How do I approach them and tell them they need to calm down without hurting their feelings? I like them a lot. I really want them to find success, but I also don't want to watch them drag themselves into a never-ending rabbit hole of ego. As everything else, talk to them. And there's a very good way to like come forward and talk to someone about it. You don't want to be like, hey, you're being a bitch. Like, don't do that. That's not how to talk to someone. Be like, hey, I just want you to know, like, this is how I feel. This is what I've seen. I want you to do well, but I also need you to know that, this is how it's coming off to me, kind of thing. Talk to them about it. And you can do it, sorry, I just got another one. I'm just reformatting it because otherwise it just like goes all the way off the screen. But yeah, talk to them and be like, and just like be real with them. Like, this is how I feel. I don't know if that's how it makes you feel or if this is what you're intending. But yeah, talk to them. See how it goes. I'm reading this next one. It says, hey Carly, I love your content. I would love your take on a new career path I am thinking about. I am in my hometown doing a job that is all right with decent pay. Want to get into affiliate marketing and move to another country with cheaper costs of living. I don't know how familiar you are with affiliate marketing, but I'm curious how difficult it is and if there's potential to do that full time and do other side hustles like selling on Amazon. Thanks. So I don't know how helpful I can be with this one. I don't really know anything about affiliate marketing. But if you want to take a leap and do something, if you're younger, or even if you're older, I shouldn't even say if you're younger, if you want to take a leap and move to a different country and do a different life, do it. If you have the capability, if you have the money, and you have the means to do it, I think you should absolutely do it. There's always little things you can do, like side hustles. I've never done anything on Amazon. I've seen a lot of people do stuff on Amazon. I've sold my own stuff on Redbubble and like other websites. And I also do my own kind of freelance stuff that I do remotely for a bunch of people. So but yeah, if you think that you can afford moving to a different country, I say take that leap of faith. Another thing that has always kind of got me through a lot of stuff is, leap and a net will appear. If you take the leap of faith and you go to a new country, you'll learn a bunch of new things. You'll learn more about yourself. You'll learn a bunch of stuff. I say do it. I had a friend that did that, and I really wanted to do that, but I was not in a place financially that I was able to. So if you're financially able to do it, I say go for it. I think you will be very grateful that you did. I had a friend that spent many years in Thailand teaching and doing stuff, so I say do it. I know that's not really what you were asking about, but I think if that's something that's on your mind, you should think about doing it seriously. I don't know much about affiliate marketing though. Let me look it up quick. Because I might actually know what it is, but just not realize that that's what it's called. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Marketing. Okay. So I have had affiliate links and stuff like that before. I've never been the person on the other side of it though. The person like trying to promote a product. So I guess I don't know that much about that one. I've been on the side where I'm an affiliate for something. So like HelloFresh, I had a link and I got money for that. Um, and I don't know if that's what you're thinking of, is having like affiliate links for an Amazon account and getting stuff off that. I would say in regards to that, you have to talk about it a lot. You have to talk about it a ton. Um, it's kind of same with Twitch. Like, you're not going to grow on Twitch by solely only doing Twitch things on Twitch. You have to do it on different platforms. You have to do it all the time. Post it on your stories, on your Snapchat story, your Instagram story. Talk about it a lot. Post about it a lot. Because no one's going to know about your link if you don't post about it all the time. A thing with marketing, I don't remember the full statistics, but I think someone has to see an ad like 10 times before they actually recognize that they've seen an ad, if that makes sense. So like you'll see an ad 10 times and the 10th time you'll actually like take the time to read the ad and look at the ad. Um so if you feel like you're posting about something all the time, keep posting about it because there's still people that haven't seen you post about it. And if someone's like, "You're so annoying, you post about this all the time," be like, "Yeah, cuz I'm making money from it. And it's important to me. It's my job." So, that's my advice on that. Does anyone else have any other questions? You may submit the advice form. Anyone. Anyone at all. You can do the command advice. Tomorrow I will probably stream unless I'm really, really tired, which I'm tired every single night. Um, but it'll be Stardew. As it has been. Always the Stardew. I'm gonna keep working on. I'm almost to spring, which means soon I can start planting crops again because it's been winter. Still working on getting to the skull cavern, but now I can start planting stuff to try and get giant crops, which is, like I said, one of the videos that I was talking about that I want to make. No one's saying anything, so I'm going to probably call that good. Let's go see who else is live. We can give them a raid. I don't know if Crescents is still live. I know she was live earlier. She is! Let's go raid Crescents. She is currently live. And doing some Stardew. Tomorrow night we'll be doing some more Stardew. As we always do. But go have a fun time with Crescents. She's working on getting to affiliate. She's very close. Yeah, she's at 58 followers. So I think all she needs left is just like the average viewership thing of 3 people. So thanks for the stream. That was distracted shit talking about Pokemon. Alright. Have a good rest of your night, everyone. New YouTube video comes out tomorrow.